Welcome to The Last Track, where we help people showcase the last track of their life story in their final wishes. I am your host, Brian Norris, the co-owner of Bateman Funeral Home in Newport, Oregon. Just like a song can bring you back to a day, a time, and a memory, so too can a well-planned service.
My name is Lauralee. I am a representative from Bateman. I'm the assistant manager as well as the pre-planning advisor at Bateman Funeral Home. And one of the reasons that I really chose to do that, having grown up in the funeral industry and having seen the power of a pre-arrangement, it breaks my heart when I hear families sitting in front of my funeral directors and saying, "What did Mom want?" I have no idea. Did they want burial or cremation? And then they look and go, "Well, I think there's a family plot somewhere, but I don't know where it is." And having those questions and that overwhelm at the time of passing, what I like to do is help families, both those who will have passed away and the family who's surviving, have a roadmap and have your voice in the room when you've passed away and allow you to guide your family into this new situation where you're not there to help them through that transition in person. So what are the common reasons for pre-planning? One thing that pre-planning does is it does lock in the cost to today's pricing so that it doesn't go up no matter how long it is before you pass away. And that can help to address those costs ahead of time. It also allows you time to really go through and think about what your desire is, what you really are wanting. And it allows you time to talk with your family, see what they are wanting, see, do they want to have a time for a visitation, or do they not? Are they wanting to have time set aside for before the funeral, or do they want it on a different day? And we can write all those things down. It also allows you to have no doubts, as well as your family, as to what you're wanting for your service and for your final disposition, so they don't have that question of whether or not you are wanting burial or cremation. It gives peace of mind to your family knowing that they have followed through with your wishes. And it also allows them to have less decisions to make after you've passed away. So after a person has passed away, there is what's called the acute loss period. It's this period of time of grief. And what happens is typically you find out someone has passed through a phone call where you hear that Aunt Judy has passed. And typically on that phone call, it ends with, "So when's the service?" That is also saying, when can I connect with other individuals who are experiencing this loss with me? When can I share those memories? And when can I connect with those around me? This also, in this acute loss period, for some individuals, it's very important and very healing to have a time of visitation. And this time allows that loss to be real. Because for some people, just hearing that Aunt Judy has passed doesn't make it real. They need that time to reconnect with the person who has passed away. And sometimes that is to ask for a final forgiveness. Sometimes it is to share a final memory with the person who is lost. Or sometimes, and what we see most often, is people choose to bring in a letter to either be buried or cremated with the person. And that is their way of having that final goodbye. And for other people, they'll bring in a photo or something special, again, to be buried or cremated with that person. And that visitation time allows for that grieving process to really start and be real. And then we move into that time where we're really connecting with our family and our friends who have lost this person, and we all can kind of connect in that grief to help start walk through that process. Now, for many people, the time of the funeral is the last part that's organized. But what we have found is that there are lots of parts after the funeral. There's so many things to be addressed, and it can be very overwhelming. So I also want to share with you guys the Everything After program that we have.
Navigating the thick fog of grief while juggling the logistics that follow a loss can quickly become overwhelming. It feels confusing, daunting, like you're shouldering this burden alone, worried about forgetting important details. It shouldn't have to be this way. You deserve to have all the help you need and expert advice you can trust, which is why we've teamed up with Full Circle Aftercare and Brighter Mornings. They've helped thousands of people like you sort out the details and complete tasks that could prevent you from properly grieving. Together, we've created this site to help you get organized, manage your accounts, claim your benefits, prepare for the future, and connect you with the support you need for everything after a funeral. To start, you can get organized with our step-by-step guide that covers it all. You'll discover how to avoid common pitfalls and costly mistakes while learning exactly which tasks are the most urgent. And if you ever have a question about anything, from closing a Facebook account to filing an estate tax return, you can always ask an expert. We want the best for you and your loved ones. Caring for you should not stop at the end of a funeral. It should continue through everything after.
So when we are putting together an intentional plan for healing, to have a prearrangement all put together for your family, there are two different parts. The first part is informational, and this includes information for a death certificate that is on file at the funeral home so that your family doesn't have to come up with that information after you've passed. We can put in this file either DD-214 discharge paperwork from the military, so if you are looking to have the veteran burial benefits claimed after you have passed. We can have a deed or information on where you want to be buried, or if you're wanting to be scattered at a specific place, we can have that information on file. We can also put in this folder your instructions. If you have any specific jewelry that you're wanting to have buried or cremated with you or returned to family, we put that information on file. One of the big parts of doing this prearrangement is having the contact information for who is going to be handling your arrangements. And one of the reasons this is so big is we like to have at least 2 individuals listed, because if a person passes before you, we want to have a backup just in case, so that we have their contact information on file for when they are going to receive the death certificates. And lastly, we can have any service requests that you are wanting, anything from what color flowers that you want out of service, or if you do not want a service at all, we can have that written down so that we know and your family knows what your final wishes are. The second part is pre-funding. And like I said, it can lock in the cost to today's prices, but it can do a few other things as well. When you're doing a funded prearrangement, this allows, and this is the only time, that you can have a payment plan. At the time of passing, payment plans are not an option, but you can do a payment plan if you're doing a prearrangement. It allows for your plan to be transferable so that if you were to pass somewhere else or if you were to move to another location, the full plan can be transferred to a funeral home of your choice. The other thing that it allows is during that payment plan process, you still have full protection. So that if you pass before your prearrangement, before your plan is paid in full, for the most part, it will still pay the full amount despite not having finished the payment plan. So I just said if you moved, but what happens if you pass away out of our area? And now for most people, the thought is that you're going to pass away at your home, right? That's the goal for most individuals. However, even if you're not on vacation, like Gene Bateman was in Arizona when he passed away. That is nowhere near Bateman Funeral Home. Some people will pass away if they had a medical event. They may be transported to Corvallis Hospital, or they may be sent to Florence Hospital, Eugene Hospital. There are many different ways that you may pass away outside of our county. So one of the things that we can include in a prearrangement is our out-of-area protection so that you can use your plan as you had it set up. There's the possibility, if you had a medical event, that you may be out of our county because our transportation is here within Lincoln County. In the last month, we have actually encountered this at all these different hospitals where individuals from Lincoln County passed away and their families were calling us to see what if they had a prearrangement and if we were able to go and handle their arrangements for them when they were out of our area, which we can, but it does mean that there is a lot more logistics and there's a lot more cost involved. So that's something that we can go over, that we can talk about to see if that's right for your family to include in your prearrangement.